Hey everyone, I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer, and I've played Siege since the beginning. I believe it was January 2016, or like January 2015. Whenever the game first released, I basically got it then, right? I started playing ranked before like Buck and Frost came out. So that's how long I've been playing this game. And I want to talk about my perspective on how the game has changed over the years and just how I feel. The biggest change to the game, in my opinion, has been the community. The community has gone through many evolutions, right? It went from a no-name niche game, which is always a fun time when you're playing a no-name niche game, right? To um a what you would call I would call a fake toxic community where it started to be talked about the community and the state of Siege, and you would find those toxic people and you'd just be like, dude, the Siege is toxic, but it was only one person out of the 9 in the game, or the 10 in the game. And then it was realized through content creators that started to grow that it wasn't toxic. And it was like that until recently, probably about the past year. I feel like it has become, it is starting on a spectrum. It is starting, players and devs synergy over here to players versus developers over here. I feel like on the spectrum, it's starting to lean towards players versus developers. Overall, I think the players are together with the developers, but it's starting to lean a little bit more towards players versus developers. That's been the biggest change in Siege for me. The gameplay flow has changed significantly, and this has given me an advantage, by the way. I'm going to say this outright. This has given me a huge advantage as a player that just got in early, right? Because there's different play styles that people used throughout the ages of Siege. How many people do you see play Pulse in Archives on Consulate when it's a basement objective? Hardly any in Ranked. Back in the day, you could bet your ass that at least 50% of the times there was a Pulse, if not someone else, playing inside of Archives every single time. And you could also bet that the garage would get opened every single time because there was less stuff to deal with it. Bandit tricking became a thing, but everyone kind of sucked at it. The overall skill of the community grew to where things like bandit tricking actually became viable. When bandit tricking and mute jam, all that stuff first came out, everybody sucked at it. So it was like, oh, you just do the thermite charge, act a little retarded, and you get the wall. Now it's like, all right, this bandit has been bandit tricking for 3 or 4 years of his life. You got to fight that, The game, operator-wise, has changed significantly, but I feel like, at least, I can't talk about the Pro League meta at all because I've never played in professional. I played a little bit of competitive scrims, but nothing professional. The ranked experience has literally stayed the same for the past 5 years. It is winning gunfights with a little bit of utility use sprinkled in. There's definitely a lot more you have to deal with, a lot more of that siege the building, siege the room element, right? Because before, one hard breacher, Thatcher and Twitch, Sledge, and IQ or Ash, And you had Bandit and Mute, and then Jaeger, and Rook, Castle. That's all you got, And it was a different type of utility, right? It wasn't like the utility now. Deployable shields are a lot more prevalent now than they were back in the day. And it's overall been the utility kind of sprinkled in with gunfights, but the utility has changed over the years, right? Mira wasn't out when the game first released. Now we have to deal with Miras. I remember actually when Mira first came out, people didn't get it, and then all of a sudden Mira came out, and silently Twitch became one of the most useful operators in the game because we all figured out, oh, you could Twitch the thing, right? In terms of how maps played, I feel like there was a lot more of that hyper aggressive roaming, I feel like in ranked, there's not as much of that. There's always at least one or two anchor players, even if you are one of those people, right? But I feel like with the game being out so long, you can't just play one playstyle forever, right? And so that bred a generation of people that roamed, and some of them broke off into anchoring. And as the new generations come up, you have the a bunch of people that want to roam and ranked, and the content people and the anchor people, right? YouTube has played an insane factor in how this game's developed. From different angles, different spots. I would overall say YouTube has lowered the toxicity of the community drastically. There's a lot. There's a reason, by the way, to meme. Meming, I think, as every year has gone on, meming and casual has become more and more and more and more and more prevalent in Siege. Back in the days, casual played like unranked does now. And now casual became sort of do stupid things, right? Not necessarily meme on people. There was still team killing and all that, but it wasn't like, it was still like, you pick your 5 recruits, you do your whatever, but it wasn't as meme heavy as it is now. Like if you're a heavy ranked player like me, you don't like casual. And it used to be when you hopped into casual, you were like, it's fine. It's casual, it's whatever, but I'm not going to like have a negative experience. Now casual is an extremely negative experience. Like I said, if you played unranked today, the vibes you get from unranked, that's how casual was. So that's how it was back in the day, at least. Do I think... Here's a question that I always kind of think about myself is, do I wish Siege was back in the old days, right? A much more simpler game with less utility. I personally... It's hard to say. I'm leaning on no, right? There's a couple reasons for that. Of course, hacking and bugs. That's my cat. Wait, Sasha, did you see a moth outside? Huh? Is there bugs? Okay. But in terms of things like bugs and hackers, of course the game's better. But take all of that out. Look at the core game as a whole. I mean, back in the day, it was a much more simpler game. If you look at the skill level of people today, I feel like if Siege never changed from what it was back in the day, it would be a dead game. Because it's always keeping you on your toes. And if it stayed simple, maybe they added more operators, but it stayed as simple as it was when it first released, it wouldn't be fun, because we have the same, maybe new maps every once in a while, maybe same ops, but for the most part, there's less dynamic gameplay, right? In terms of the skill of the community, the operators you had at hand. I'm always a fan of new operators. I've learned from, at least I've gotten the trait from playing this game for so many years, that I love new content in this game because I love seeing the sandbox expand. A great example of the sandbox expanding is Outback, right? When Outback released, I don't think a lot of us enjoy Outback. If I get Outback, I'm like, all right, it's Outback. I don't enjoy it, but I don't hate it. If you guys ever notice, Outback had one of the best color palettes of any map in the game. And you can see that reflected in new maps. Take Canal. You notice how the hallway upstairs is, you have red and green. Not only do you have 90, you have red stairs, green stairs, yellow stairs, blue stairs. All the different rooms are bright colors. They're nice to look at. Maps room is green. Radio room has that wooden brown. Canal's in the basement, right? It's easy to discern objective sites for new players. And I think Canal is even though Canal is maze-like, I feel like it is a very easy map to learn for new players. Except like the back area. I feel like the back area that you never really use as a new player, but that aside, New House is very bright and vibrant. New Oregon, you know, reworked Oregon, very bright and vibrant. And overall, seeing the developers learn along with us how these maps work and how to develop new maps, I am glad that Siege is where it's at today. And I mean, that's all I got to say about it. That's all I got to say. My thoughts on how, you know, Siege has changed over the years for me, my personal thing with it, you know. I'm still excited for this game. I'm excited to see where it goes, and I'm excited for Rainbow Six too, whenever it finally has to come out, because we've gotten literally every single bit of enjoyment and content out of this game. So guys, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed, let me know in the comments below. When did you start Siege, and how has it evolved from when you played it? Let me know that also. If you want to support the channel, there's affiliate links in below for my mouse. If you buy those using those links, it supports me. But I'm Pacific the Casual Gamer. I suck just as bad as you do at video games, and I'll see you guys in the next one.